Hi, my name is Sia, and in this video I'll be talking about coordinate planes, but it's a little bit more advanced. So as you already know, these terms are just some of the key terms that you need to know when you're talking about coordinate planes. But here's just a review. So we have a graph, which is just a representation of data, quadrants, which there are 4 in a coordinate plane, and they're usually in Roman numerals. The origin is just the center of the graph at 0, 0, and it's where the x-axis and the y-axis intersect. An ordered pair is just numbers in the form of x comma y, where x is the x-coordinate and y is the y-coordinate, and it represents a point on the coordinate plane. The key terms that you need to know for now is parallel lines, which are lines in the same plane that never intersect. Therefore, they are parallel. They always just go on forever and they never intersect. So here's just like an example of what a parallel lines might look like. And perpendicular lines, which are lines that intersect and they form a 90-degree angle when they intersect. So for example, these two lines intersect right here, right? And when they intersect, they form a 90-degree angle. The slopes of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals of each other, and the slopes of parallel lines have the same slope. So negative reciprocals just means like if the slope of line y was, if the slope of the function f of x was, let's say like 2x, then the slope of the equation g of x, which is perpendicular, of the line g of x, which is perpendicular to f of x, would be negative 1 over 2x. That's basically what it means when it says negative reciprocals. So, yeah, let's take a look at an example of parallel and perpendicular lines. In this example, we see f of x, g of x, and h of x. F of x is this yellow line, g of x is this green line, and this pink one is h of x. F of x and g of x are parallel to each other, so they are going to be parallel to each other. And h of x and f of x, g of x is perpendicular to h of x. So let's take a look at what this would look like if we were to find a point on f of x or g of x. So let's say we want a point 1, 1 on f of x. Using this point, we can find the slope, which can be calculated using the slope-intercept form. And that is y is equal to mx plus b. Y is just like the y value of the point, so it's just like the y value. This x just represents the x value. M represents the slope, and b represents the y-intercept. So again, let's go back to this point here. We have 1, 1. So now we can find the slope of this line f of x using this point. So let's define the points that we already know. So we know y is equal to 1, right? Because 1, 1. Wait, let me just write it here so it's a little bit more, so you can see it. Y is equal to 1, x is equal to also 1, and the y and b, which is the y-intercept. In this case, it's pretty easy for us because it just goes through 0, 0, so the y-intercept is just 0. And so we plug it into the equation. Y is equal to m times 1 plus 0, because the y-intercept is 0. So it's 1 is equal to m, and so the slope of the line is just 1, and so the equation of the line here in slope-intercept form is going to be y is equal to y is equal to x. And you can always test test by plugging in points. So if we make like a table for x and y values, let's see, 1. When we plug in 1, we get 1. When we plug in 2, we get 2. When we plug in 3, we get 3. When we plug in 4, we get 4. And so it works out. And so we get 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, and so on. It goes on forever. And so it works out, and so we know that this equation is correct. And so, by the way, if you don't know how to find slope, it is basically just rise over run, which is delta x over delta y over delta x. This just means the change in y over the change in x, which is this symbol here. It's called delta, is what it means. So let's do some practice and find the equation of the line. So there are 2 lines here, and I'm trying to find the equation of both of these lines. And let's use the slope-intercept form to our advantage. So we have y is equal to mx plus b. So for the g of x equation, we can just find, let's say we use the point 2, actually let's use 1, 3. It's a little bit easier as compared to 2, 4 because it's bigger numbers. You should always, just use like smaller numbers to make it easier for yourself. So here for g of x, I'm going to use the same color so it's easier to understand. So 1, 3, so again, y is the 3 value, m, x is 1, and b, again, is our y-intercept, which it goes through 2. So m is equal to, in this case, it would be 3 minus 2, which is just 1. So, yeah. Let's see. Let me write it here so you guys can understand what just happened. 3 minus, oh my gosh. 3 minus 2 is what just happened here. And so m is equal to 1. So let's write our final equation for the g of x function. And it's y is equal to, the slope is 1, which is just going to leave us with the x plus 2. And so the equation of line g of x is, of the function g of x is y is equal to x plus 2. So let's do h of x now. It's time to do our last and final one. So let's take this point. Let's take the point. We'll take 5 and negative 2 because it looks pretty easy to do. So again, we take negative 2 as our y value, is equal to m times x, which is 5 in this case, plus b. B is the y-intercept, right? So b here, it goes, well, it's not really approximate here, but it kind of goes through 5.5, like we can approximate that. So it goes through like 5.5. And so we have negative 2 minus 5.5 is equal to m times 5. And in this case, we are going to be getting a negative slope. And again, you can see that because of like the line, it's not like facing, it's not like the g of x where there's a positive slope. We are going to be getting a negative slope because there will be a negative number here. And here, when you solve negative 2 minus 5.5, you get negative 7.5 is equal to 5m. And wait a minute, this is not solved yet. You still have to divide by 5 on both sides. Divide by 5. And I guess if you solve this in decimals, you approximately get like negative 1.5, I think. Yeah, so you get negative 1.5. So yeah, that's your slope, the value of your slope. So you get y is equal to m, which is negative 1.5. So negative 1.5 x plus b, which is 5.5. So the equation of the function h of x is going to be that y is equal to negative 1.5 x plus 5.5. And that is how you find the equation of a line. So yeah, thank you for watching.